Ooh, it feels weird to be back in front of a camera. Alright, let me get settled. Alright. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ryan and I talk about books, bookish things, and all things nerdy on my channel. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I know I've been MIA for a while and there's a good reason for that. I swear, I was going through probably one of the hardest months of my life last month. As some of you may know, my grandfather passed away at the end of January 30th, and I was still stuck in a training, and we were trying to figure out funeral dates and memorial service dates and all of that, and on top of work and getting accepted into a master's certificate program through my job, which I start the end of this month. No pressure, as well as applying to grad school, and it's been crazy. Okay, it's been absolutely bonkers. I was going through a reading slump and grief and depression and anxiety last month, and I just prioritized my own mental health, which is something that I've talked about continuously on this channel, over creating content. I'm sorry that I was missing. I'm not sorry that I chose myself, if that makes any sense. I'm sore. Did a workout yesterday. Awful. So the month of February, I don't really have a lot to report. I was successful at Valentine's. I read 5 books. I made some really cool friends. So that's nice. But most of the books I read weren't on my TBR. Alright, in the month of February, I read Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man by Emmanuel Acho. And that was, I listened to an audiobook, and it was great, and that finished the prompts of First Date, Head Over Heels, and Spread the Love. It was part of the Nougats and Novels book club from Jefferly Coco over at Dreaded and Redded. She's fantastic. I'll leave her links down below. Just go consume every piece of content she ever puts out ever, because it's perfect. Next I read Lumberjanes Volume 2, Friendship to the Max, which satisfied Goo Goo Eyes, My Sunshine, Bubble Bath, Acts of Service, and Commitment issues. And it was just, I read Lumberjanes Volume 1, which follows the adventures of a group of girls at a Lumberjanes camp, and they go on all these adventures, and it has fantasy elements. The art style is super pretty. It's free with Comixology if you have Amazon Prime. Next, I read Aries by Sally Kirkman, a self-help guide to living your best life according to your star sign. And it was interesting, and that satisfied the prompt of date night, which is just setting aside an evening to read. It was like 150 pages or something. Then I read Gravity Falls Journal 3 by Alex Hirschman, and it was everything that I was missing and withdrawing from for Gravity Falls, which I might start a rewatch of. This is actually the journal that Dipper has in the show, and it was a lot of fun. It has a lot of codes. It's definitely worth the reread, which I'll go back to it later. And that was a gift from my friend Julia, and satisfied the prompts Gifts and Opposites Attract, something that was a book that was not in your normal genre or medium. Yeah, medium. Then I read Fables Volume 4, March of the Wooden Soldiers by Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham, Craig Hamilton, Steve Leialoha, and P. Craig Russell. And that satisfied Love Shack, Skip a Beat, Long Term Ship, and Dreams Come True. And I gave it 4 stars. It was a great continuation of the series, and that gave me the bingo I needed to succeed at Valentine's. I doubled up on a lot of prompts just because I was in a massive reading slump, and my reading started picking up towards the end there, but it's still not what it was. But I'm doing way better in the month of March. I have already completed a few books. I'm doing a mood read month, except for 2 readathons, and that is Becca's Bookoplathon 48-hour readathon, which I'll leave that link down below. And Owlcrate is doing their Owlcrateathon, which, if you remember my goals video from last year, one of the things I wanted to focus on was getting through the backlog of subscription box books that I have. And there's 20 of them. There's 20. Which we'll get into in a minute. So, the first book I finished was Remote Control by Dr. Nydia Okorafor. Dr. Okorafor has become one of my, like, must-read authors. Everything she's ever written, I just want to get my hands on and just devour. Remote Control is set in a near-future Ghana, and it tells the story of a girl who develops abilities, and death just seems to follow her around. This causes the people in Ghana to name her the goddaughter of death. And I don't really want to go into much more than that, because part of why I think I loved this book so much was the fact that I went into it kind of blind. I knew that it was her new book. I knew that I wanted to read it. I knew that it was going to be so good, and it was. I can't tell you what happened because, one, it'll spoilers, but two, it's one of those books that you leave and you just want more of. This is, the genre I would classify this in is African futurism, which is what Dr. Okorafor says she writes. This has some sci-fi elements, this has some fantasy type elements in it. It has a fox friend who is just, I would die for. And it's just this perfect summation of weird and amazing, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and I gave that 4 stars. I haven't been using my own, like, how I rate book scale, just because it takes a lot of work, and I just don't have the energy. Next I read The Secret Loves of Geek Girls, edited by Hope Nicholson, forward by Kelly Sue DeConnick, and this has stories from Margaret Atwood, Marjorie Liu, Mariko Tamaki, Margaret Bennett, and more. This is a mix of prose in comics, and it tells the real life stories of the loves, I should say, of geekish creators, which I saw this and I immediately knew I had to have it. One, it's like a graphic novel type binding. Two, the essays in here were fantastic. It talks about self-love, it talks about bad breakups, it talks about meeting the love of your life online, it's talking about being authentic to yourself. It's just great. There is a volume 2, it's published by Dark Horse. I don't have volume 2. Next time I go to the bookstore, I'm gonna look for volume 2. Next, I finally finished Mystery Mile by Marjorie Ellingham. This is the second Albert Campion mystery, and I actually liked this way more than the first. The first was fantastic. The second actually had a lot of the elements that I felt were missing from the first to make it more Agatha Christie-esque. This was published in 1936, I think? 1930. This was published in 1930. It tells the story of Albert Campion, who is a private detective of sorts. He's kind of like a private detective meets like criminal for hire. It's like Moriarty and Sherlock had a baby who then married Hercule Poirot, I guess, is the best way I can describe him. He is a really interesting character. It tells the story of, the plot follows Campion helping a judge named Crowdy Lovett, who is who's being terrorized by a gang, and Campion takes him to his friend's house with Mystery Mile in this small village. The local vicar dies, and that just sets off a chain of events that makes everybody realize that Judge Lovett is next. With him are his 2 children, Isopel, it's Isopel, and Marlowe? Yeah, Marlowe. and as well as Albert Campion's lifelong friends, Biddy, or Bridget, and what's this, Gail? Giles. And Giles, her brother, who are the owners of Mystery Mile. I really enjoyed this. I don't want to go too far into it because one of the things I really enjoyed is kind of like the directions it took. It's a cozy mystery. It's not super serious. It's not like a thriller. It's just a good old-fashioned mystery. I borrowed this from my friend Kim. I'm really happy to get, I'm going to see if I can borrow the next couple of books in the series from her. I actually want to buy these covers for myself. This is Felony and Mayhem's, Felony and Mayhem's vintage mystery series or imprint. Yeah, this is Felony and Mayhem's series. They have it's marked by these distinctive covers. I actually read or was reading something by Felony and Mayhem. Something else by Felony and Mayhem, and I really enjoyed it. I can't remember what it was though. So I'm definitely going to check out this publishing house more and get this back to my friend Kim finally. I'm currently reading They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This was borrowed from my friend Mason at work, and he highly recommended this. This is a story about these two teenagers, essentially, who find out that they are going to die and are given resources to find somebody to spend their last day on Earth with. And then, they both die at the end. It's in the title. Apparently this left him crying in a heap on the floor, so. I'm not very far into it. I am 28 pages out of 368. So, not very far in. I'm really looking forward to this, though. On to the readathons. This month, I'm trying to mood read as much as I can. Or want to, I guess. And I'm also trying to prioritize books that I either borrowed from other people or are meant to go to other people when I'm done reading them, which I'm not going to tell you which of those. And then beyond that, I'm going to participate in 2 readathons. Becca's Bookoplathon, which the first roles and announcement videos, which I'll link down below, are already out. And the roles were, let me find my reading planner. The first roles were book with a dark cover and fantasy. Now, this actually comes at a perfect time because the Becca's Bookoplathon starts at midnight BST. It starts on the 20th GMT or BST, and goes through the weekend and ends Sunday night at 11:59. Luckily for me, this actually starts at like 8 p.m. my time, so that's awesome. But it also happens right at the end, or right in the middle of Al Crateathon, which is happening from the 15th through the 28th. Yeah, the 15th through the 28th. And the point of Al Crateathon is to read books that have been in Al Crate boxes or sequels to books that have been in Al Crate boxes, and this also extends out to Al Crate Jr. boxes. I don't have Al Crate Jr., I only have Al Crate. I've been thinking about getting Al Crate Jr. for a while, but I think if I bring any more books into the house, my husband might go crazy. So we're gonna avoid that. There's a bingo board, and I will put that up right here. If you see me referencing my phone, it's just because I haven't put that there yet, obviously. The Becca's Bookoplathon prompts as they're dropped, because the rolls are throughout the weekend. So, for the prompt, a dark cover, and a fantasy, I'm going to read the same book. I'm going to probably pick up either Four Dark Queens or We Hunt the Flame. those are the two I'm going to try to pick up. So, cross your fingers for me. I hope you all are doing well, and I hope that you can forgive me for being away for so long. It was just a really hard month for me. It was a really, really hard month for me. I was facing a lot of emotions and things that I didn't know how to deal with. But I hope you know that you aren't alone, and if you're ever feeling that way, you can always find me on my socials down below, and reach out and we can just talk if you want. If you are interested in my Tomorrow Pierce read along, I will leave that down below. All of the videos that I mentioned are down below. Jefferly's link is down below. Check her out. She's beautiful, and she's talented, and she's sweet, and she's smart, she's funny, you know, she's perfect. She's perfect. And I am, with that, I am drinking now very cold coffee in my D&D Beholders mug. It was Creme Cafe coffee. That I think this is the salted caramel that my friend Emma sent me. Thank you so much, Emma.